as deacons. Amanda packed her things and went to Enini's house that night. Enini welcomed her and comforted her. She promised Amanda that she would be there for her and always support her until she gave birth. Amanda and Enini had been best friends since childhood. They attended the same school, but Enini's father passed away while Enini was still in high school. Enini's mother was a homemaker before her husband's death, so she had to take on multiple jobs to survive. Enini also had to work to support herself, and one of the many places she worked was a strip club. Amanda's parents were aware of this and warned Amanda to stay away from Enini, believing she would be a bad influence because she worked in a strip club. However, Amanda continued to be friends with Enini because she knew not to judge a book by its cover. The following days were very difficult for Amanda, so she also had to take on menial jobs to finance her studies because her parents had withdrawn their support. After school each day, Amanda worked part-time as a waitress in a bar. It was not easy to combine her studies with work, the stress of pregnancy, and the stigma she endured. After a few months, when her belly started to grow, Enini asked her to focus solely on her studies and health. "Don't worry about the money. I have enough savings to support us both until you give birth. You need to rest as much as possible," Enini said. Amanda thanked Enini and promised to repay her kindness one day. She stayed home and studied diligently for her final exams. On the day she handed in her last paper, her water broke immediately afterward, and she was rushed to the hospital. Amanda gave birth to an adorable and beautiful baby girl. She named her daughter Hope. While Amanda was struggling in the delivery room to bring her daughter into the world, Enitan was at his wedding reception. Enitan was dancing and celebrating with his new wife, a woman named Juliet. He had completely forgotten about Amanda and his wrongdoing. Enini was so happy for Amanda, and together they took care of the newborn. One day, Enini came home and saw Amanda lost in thought. "What's wrong? Don't forget you just had a baby. Do you want to raise your blood pressure?" "Enini, I'm now a single mother. What are my chances of getting married? You know how people perceive single mothers in this part of the world." Enini advised Amanda not to worry about what people thought. She told Amanda to focus on being the best mother possible for her daughter and to build a career. When Amanda's results were published, she was among the top students in her class and was fortunate to find a job a few years after completing her National Youth Service Corps, NYSC. By that time, her daughter Hope was already in primary school. Hope was very bright and had a beautiful voice. Whenever Hope sang, people loved to sit and listen to her. Back at Amanda's old church, Enitan and his wife Juliet still did not have any children. They had consulted the best gynecologists in town and undergone a series of tests, but they were always told they were medically healthy. Unknown to Enitan, the words he had sworn while denying Amanda's pregnancy were the reason he still did not have a child. One night, Juliet, Enitan's wife, had a dream. In her dream, she saw Enitan drowning in a river. She ran to the riverbank and threw him a rope. Enitan grabbed the rope, but Juliet was unable to pull him out. The more she tried to pull him out, the more she was drawn into the river. As she struggled to pull Enitan out of the river, she saw an old man in a canoe. She begged him to save Enitan, but the man said that only the truth would save him, and if she wasn't careful, he would drag her down with him to the bottom of the river. Tell him to confess and speak the truth. As soon as the man spoke these words, Juliet immediately woke up in a sweat. She quickly woke Enitan and told him about her dream. Enitan understood the meaning of the dream, but he was afraid to tell the truth. Over the years, Enitan had gone from being a simple choir master to a very popular gospel artist, well known and loved by many. For this reason, he feared that telling the truth would destroy his reputation and career, so he pretended not to understand the dream and told Juliet they should pray about it. Hope grew up to be very talented. At the age of 12, many people invited her to sing at their events just to hear her special voice. It didn't take long before she also became popular. Her mother was very proud of her and always thanked Enini, her best friend, for stopping her from committing suicide in the past. After a few years, Juliet began to threaten to divorce Emica because of the taunts and mockery she faced from her peers. In order to save his marriage, Emica decided to confess. He visited Amanda's parents with his wife, then he knelt down and apologized to them. "Ma'am, sir, I am truly sorry. I have wronged you greatly. Please forgive me." Amanda's parents were quite old, so they didn't understand why Emica would seek their forgiveness. Since they had kicked Amanda out of their home, they had lived in regret because she was their only child. The church had eventually replaced them with younger deacons a few years later. They wished they had not chosen their reputation over their daughter. "Emica, what did you do to ask for our forgiveness?" "Sir, at the time, you asked me." "If I was responsible for Amanda's pregnancy, I lied. I am responsible for her pregnancy. I am the one who deflowered her. But I was afraid of what might happen to me, which is why I denied it." Amanda's parents were very upset. They became very bitter and broke down after Emica's confession. They began to regret their actions and wished they had believed their daughter. "Please forgive me. I have been childless since my marriage because I swore on the Bible. I thought it wouldn't change anything. Please forgive me so that I can have children." "You have not wronged us, Emica. The person you wronged is Amanda. It is her forgiveness you must seek. And since we drove her out of our house because of you, we have not heard from her." Emica left their house, disappointed and hurt. He began to search for Amanda, but he could not find her. It had been many years, and many people did not even remember who Amanda was. After months of searching, Emica gave up the quest. His wife, Juliet, divorced him, and things went from bad to worse. Unfortunately, his gospel singing career also began to collapse. Enini eventually found a man who loved her sincerely, and on the day of their wedding, Hope was invited to sing. The song she performed was so sensational that it became a worldwide hit. Many popular musicians began seeking her out to feature in their songs. One of the many popular artists who wanted her on their song was Emica. He had no idea that Hope was his daughter. Emica's manager had advised him to feature Hope in his song to revive his career, as she was one of the most sought-after artists in the music industry. After Emica's manager discussed Emica's proposal to collaborate on a song with Amanda and Hope, they all headed to the studio. Upon arrival, Amanda was stunned to see Emica. Even though years had passed, she recognized him instantly. "Emica!" she exclaimed in disbelief. Emica recognized her too and then looked at Hope. "Is she my daughter?" he began to ask, but Amanda interrupted him, grabbing Hope and angrily leaving the studio. Emica pursued them, pleading with Amanda to listen, but she ignored him and drove away. Feeling desperate, Emica went to Amanda's parents and informed them that he had found Amanda. Delighted by the news, they met with Emica's manager, and together they went to Amanda's house. Amanda's parents were surprised to see the beautiful house she lived in. They were proud of her achievements, but also ashamed of their past actions. When Amanda saw her parents, she remembered their mistreatment and was tempted to turn them away, but she decided to let them in for Hope's sake. Whenever Hope asked about her father and grandparents, Amanda always assured her they would meet one day. Once inside, Amanda's parents knelt beside Emica and begged for her forgiveness. They apologized for not believing her and for everything she had endured because of them. Amanda, moved by the sight of her aging parents on their knees, felt saddened. She asked them to sit down and told them that she had forgiven them. Emica too came to where Amanda was sitting, broke down in tears, and begged for her forgiveness. At that moment, Hope entered the room and saw everyone witnessing Emica's remorse. She asked her mother to forgive him too. Amanda forgave Emica and introduced him to Hope as her father and her parents as her grandparents. Amanda's parents were delighted to meet Hope. But as they were about to leave, Emica asked Amanda, "I know I have caused you immense pain, and my life has been a mess because of my actions, but I am now single. Would you consider becoming my wife?" Can we reunite and form a happy family? If you were Amanda, or if Amanda were your sister, would you support her in the idea of marrying Emeka despite everything he put her through? The moral of this story is that no matter how difficult things get, never give up. Better days are always ahead. Do not let any situation push you to consider ending your life, because as long as there is life, there is hope. Be mindful of your actions today, as they may come back to haunt you. Remember, you will eventually reap what you sow. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoyed this story. Give it a thumbs up, comment, and share. Thank you, and God bless you.